everybody. It is Tuesday. It's everyone's favorite day. You get to find out what's going to be in comic book stores tomorrow. I just got back from Washington, D.C. / Traverse City, Michigan. Had a lot of fun when I was gone. Did some serious stuff. Went on to the Capitol Hill and explained to the staff of my senators things that might affect me as a small business owner. So maybe they can not make crazy laws. This is me saying, stay connected with your representatives. It's the only way they know what you want them to do. Otherwise, they're operating in a vacuum. Votes are great. You telling them what to do is better. Triple B! Hello, my friends. All right, how much do you guys love what happens here now? Thank you, StreamYard. You're my new best friend because everyone can see what everyone else is saying, no matter where they're watching from, because we do broadcast on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, some other places. I don't know. Probably we're also being broadcast on the Watchtower, both of them. Why are they both called Watchtower, Shanice? DC and Marvel, you call things the same thing so much. Why don't you just marry each other?
Speaking of Marvel and DC.
Tell the announcement. It's so cool.
Sure, you've all seen it, but the Batman Deadpool crossover issues, I think each company are doing their own Batman Deadpool and Deadpool Batman. Very excited.
It's like the era of Batman Spawn. It was like just printing money. Even today, back issue ones, still printing money. They're so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. They're both kind of full of themselves. Although one's got money and one really doesn't. So, I don't know.
And Grant Morrison writing, I'm so excited to see what they do.
Oh, yeah. Do you think they're going to have any bad guys at all? Or are they just going to have each other be their foils?
That would be fun. No idea. But what do you think?
Are there any? It would be funny if they did one of those meta things where there is a common bad guy. Since we're already talking about those watchtowers for both of them, what can we bring over? You guys think about it, chat about it. What would you bring in from both Batman and Deadpool's universes? It would be a really cool story pull through. It would be very witty because you got all of the breaking the wall from Wade and, I don't know, grumpiness of Batman. What could we get together? It would be really cool. All right. We got some cool books out this week, including we're going to clear up some stuff about one of the releases this week, so you're not confused because your LCS or local comic shop might also be confused, and it will be okay. Don't worry. It's just what happens in comics all the time. Let's get to reviewing. Hello, many numbers all strung together and truncated. Joker versus Deadpool. Oh, heck yeah. All right. Venom, Original Sin. Okay. I needed to go and reread what the kind of like the push for this was. It really does feel like, from what I read, because it's a really big book, y'all. Whatever the price point is, it's worth it because it felt like 3 or 4 books. But it all centers around the Jack-o'-lantern, Eddie, and the black suit. And it's mentioned 2 or 3 times in the book that this is the way it could have happened or should have happened or will happen or possibly could happen. So it really does a whole bunch of like, let's walk through the story of Eddie and all of this. Doesn't retell anything really, but it just tells a story as if, okay, this hasn't happened. But if you threw a Jack-o'-lantern in the mix, what could be going down? It's really well written and gorgeously arted. I'm making up words today. It's pretty fun. I say if you were a fan of Eddie Brock or Venom or you've never ever seen Jack-o'-lantern do his thing, it's great. Sit down, absorb, don't get distracted by the kiddos, do it after they're asleep, probably. Great read of a book.
This is terrific year 1. So this is this would be a pretty good starting a jumping in point for people who are curious about this character, especially considering he's going to make his debut in the upcoming Superman movie. So just throwing it out there. I actually really like this one quite a bit. I like that it referenced a book that I felt was overlooked, the Terrifics book that came out a couple years back. So if you're a fan of that one, definitely check this book out. Basically following Mr. Terrific, who is dealing with what happened in All In and with what happened to Darkseid, and as well as some personal matters that he understandably is not over in regards to his wife and his child. Yes, T-Spears are definitely underrated. Like, Mr. Terrific as a character, he is genuinely, like, slept on. He's popped up a couple of times over the years in different books, but I'm hoping that this title, like, will encourage people to check him out and check out his past stories. But basically, the big, I guess, conflict in this book is he sells his company to someone who may or may not have the best interest for the company, and it's affecting people in his city. So he's got to figure out what's going on. And I'm not quite sure if will be an ongoing or if it'll be a maxi series. Do you know, Jen?
I actually don't know.
So if anybody knows, I would generally love an answer to that. But I'm hoping people will genuinely check out this book because I adore Mr. Terrific, and I'm so glad that he's popping up more and more and more.
Right. So I'm not familiar with him. It's probably a lot of people are not super familiar with him. Just basically, what are his powers?
Super smart, but like he's got these like T-Spears, but generally like just this would be the book. If anything, I should have like let you, or you should have read this one.
Yeah, this is a good primer for me.
Yes, it's a good primer for you. But
fair play.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely check.
Yeah, because I know he has it on the downside of his jacket, right? I've seen lots of really great cosplay of this, and I've always thought to myself, he just dresses really nice. So I've always wanted to know about him. I especially want to know about the cool, obviously T's his through line. The thing on his face, is that part of a mask thing, or is that something he's branded with? Always interested in those, like the choices for why people look the way they do when they become a superhero.
A very snazzy jacket.
A very snazzy leather jacket, which I hope everyone starts to wear. And it looks like a terribly comfortable outfit. And he could go skateboarding because he's got protection for his hands.
There you go.
But he needs a little helmet.
Yeah, T-Spears will actually protect him.
Oh, okay. All right. Gail Simone has been writing really deeply amazing characters and storylines for Uncanny X-Men because she knows that she's writing into a universe in which we know and love all of our characters, and she also knows and loves these same characters as well, but she wants to give us something more, I say. And so she's developed these really great young characters that we've met since the first issue. One of them is occasionally dead. One of them has an adorable stutter. One usually has a power that she shares with her horse. Spoiler alert, that horse died in one of the recent issues. Now she's trying to figure out, does she have any powers without said steed? When last we saw them, there was a terrifying looking mechanical dog that has jumped up. They're on I don't know if you're going to call it a journey. They're going to this kind of like underworld place where they, in the last issue, met Man-Thing, who is its guardian. So now that they've actually gone there, they've met, I forgot her name. They've been flashing back and forth between when this main character actually came and formed this place, what their powers are, what their interaction is in the past. She's a cool looking girl. She's got like this epic looking hat. She feels very 20s or 30s. from where she's pulled from. But anyway, this Dark Artery storyline is supposed to be dark, and in this one, it looks like one of them's offering to give up everything to go and be part of this new underworld. So I don't know. It's really cool. I really like all the character developments. My struggle is I have to learn all their names. Trying really hard. One of them's Ransom, because I love that name a lot. And nope, can't come up with the rest of them. But I like all, because they sometimes use their X-Men name and sometimes use their real name. So that the struggle is real. I think we just need to have like a list that I just like try to memorize them with. It's not like their names are hard. It's just you got to have a long time with some characters before you be like, that person. They're not going to die tomorrow, so I'm going to probably remember their name now.
Absolute Martian Manhunter. Still a phenomenal book. Like, if you've read it, then you understand the hype for it. This issue, we get to see more of the antagonists. And if you're familiar with Martian Manhunter lore, I'm pretty sure you'll know who it is. Yeah, like anything that can be said about this book, I'm sure you guys will hear it over like the next couple of days, or it's already been said about it. It's just the artwork, the writing. It's just I love seeing John interact with the Martian. And it's just genuinely like, I'm not sure what DC's plans are in the future, like with the absolute titles, if there's going to be like a big crossover or whatever. It's just like this book can exist in the same universe as Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman is in Green Lantern. Is genuinely bonkers to me, and I mean that as a compliment. But starts off with so 24 people. Just at random are set on fire, and the people who set them on fire, they have no idea why they did it. They just got this urge, and they're all surrounded by like this white smoke. Yeah, into the bonkers verse exactly. They're just surrounded by this white smoke. So of course we know who it is, and in universe now, John and Martian, they know who it is, but like just still seeing it play out is just genuinely like just I won't say bonkers again because of that message, but it's
crazy.
It's a very surreal book. Like I just in this issue, seeing them interact with this thing, and it's like how can they beat it? Like what will the outcome be at the end of the series? And I'm so glad that it got extended from its initial like.
Can you imagine trying to fit it all in 6?
Yeah, I don't think they could have done it, but Campy's phenomenal writer, but it's like I'm so glad they have more time to let it breathe. And it's still 3 issues in. This is still my favorite of the absolute titles.
Both Shanice and I will tell you, if what is holding you back is the art style on the cover, especially the number 1, understand that the art style that you're seeing is literally part of the storytelling. It is another character. Once you read the first issue, for sure, when you read the second issue, you'll be like, I understand what is going on, why this is stylized the way it is. It has to be.
You also need more artwork like this. Just be as in this medium, you're just go as crazy as you can with it, like as you can with it, like with this art style. It's to the point like if DC wanted to like re-release this and like a magazine in the oversized format, I'd buy it just to see it. Like oh man. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I genuinely if you get a chance to read like issue 2, I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because this book, I don't want to keep saying like it's good, but it genuinely is like it's such a phenomenal book. And I'm so glad that we have camp writing for Marvel, DC, Image. Just we're so glad that we're in this era of his writing.
Also, I highly recommend following. I think it's Javier Rodriguez is the artist, because he puts up pretty regular updates and spoilery, not like going to spoil the story for you, but just like shows some advanced imagery, just to like get you hyped. And I think that's really cool. That he's done a good job of not like, okay, I'm going to give away the storyline, but here's some cool like teaser art. It's really cool.
It is, but it's so hard because like whenever like his post pops up on Instagram, it's like, oh, I gotta wait another week or two to read this. Definitely do that.
Hey, I'm a number one Marvel fan. I don't know, those are fighting words, but like Marvel a lot. Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay, what can I tell you? Like, if you haven't read the last 3 issues, I guess, hold your ears closed. Somewhere in those last 3 issues, Harry died. And we've been operating the last 3 issues as if that is true. And there's no reason to believe otherwise, honestly. But also what we found out in the last 2 or 3 issues is that Gwen is also Mysterio, but not just Mysterio, but many Mysterio. And there's more other Mysterios. I know it sounds really strange, but if you read it, it will make all the sense to you, I promise. But Gwen is also the person that's in charge of her company, not her, I think, what did they say, husband? I can't, in this universe, I can't remember if she's married or not, or if it's her dad that she's working for, but has always been running the entire thing all this time. So in this issue, you see her interact with the ultimate Fisk, who comes in and tells her, this is the way it's going to be. Just hope you know, this is the arrangement I had. I think it's your dad. With your dad, so now this is going to be the arrangement with you. Just so you know. And she pretty much, not to his face, but as he's walking away, it's kind of like, well, I'm glad he thinks that's the way this is going to go. So I like when you have really strong female characters that are, you're like, okay, she doesn't have to fight to let you know. She's going to mess with you. So do pick this up. There's also a short interaction with Ben, because remember, Peter and MJ were married in this universe and have kids, and one of them's Ben. Ben's old enough to have taken on the mantle of Spider-Man, while Pete has had other things to do. The other thing you need to know is that both Robbie Robertson and J. Jonah Jameson work together on their own independent newspaper that is not the one that you would think of. They do their own kind of like internet one. And they work together and they love each other. So it's really a totally big departure from what you are used to seeing in Spider-Man titles. Also, you don't have a lot of those problems like where Pete, his entire like thing is like, oh, everyone I love could die at any moment. So I'm always trying to watch out for them and protect them. But it feels like everybody in his universe can hold their own, which is kind of nice to have him have that kind of like, it's not a relaxation. He still's got a lot of things he's got to deal with, but less crazy than usual. Bar Lord.
Gosh.
I love this cover so much.
Yeah, cover is gorgeous looking cover. I was gonna reference something. I don't know to say it, but
did it happen more than 2 issues ago?
Yeah, no. Well, no, it's like I said last time with Hush, either you're on the Hush train or you're not. And with this one, it's
Is there any more torture? Because that was really great for the first issue.
No torture.
Okay.
No torture to characters in the book, at least. But like it I'm trying not to be mean about it. It's a book that I'm sure people, if you're liking this book, you will enjoy it. Streak intact.
Yeah, because Eddie comes every show.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, Preston! Everyone's coming in late.
Yeah.
Was there a sports ball on?
in on this review, so I'm so happy to see that. Yeah, this book or this issue rather, more like the Bat family is getting more and more involved in all of this, and it is just, I know status quo is going to be, it'll always be a thing. There are certain Bat related characters that nothing can happen to, but it's still so frustrating when you have they have an opportunity to just do something and they just can't. So I kind of down to the fraction run. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that run as well.
Is that your names or an equation? Oh yeah, this is like Shanice is equals to Miss Jen. I don't know.
Like this was just another issue of Hush. That's all I can really say about this turning into a very long angry rant. So
it does look like y'all's comments are making Batman crazy.
Yeah. But generally, though, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. I will say that as positive for this book.
Have they said the thing that we know in secret? Have they said that in public yet? In regard to the Hushes?
In the DC solicits, they mentioned what we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you like Hush, you should read this because Hush is great. At least it's Miss Jen and not Miss Jen. Oh, that's true. When it was a big run on. Because Parlor, the original event, was in its own numbering. It was just part of the regular run, which is kind of cool that they kept that going. I like it. All right, Mommy Blog is a single shot done by Marguerite Bennett, which has done a great many really awesome things that I've read, including Insects by Early Aftershock, which is also not safe for work. This one is a standalone issue, so you don't need to know anything. Just grab it up and enjoy this for what it is. It's probably twice as long as a normal comic book. It is almost, I think it's all on cardstock. Feels like, I know that the outer cover is definitely cardstock. It just feels very rich, this book. And it is all from the point of view of this mommy on the very front there, who it's really interesting the way this is all laid out. Basically, it's from her POV. She's basically describing in her town all the different kinds of mommies there are. There's like the granola mom and what she would wear and what you think about her and how she like this person always carrying a it's kind of Stanley tumbler or whatever. So it's kind of like goes through all like the helicopter mom, whatever. There's like 5 different kinds of mom according to her kind of like thought process. And you find out kind of from her thinking that she really wants to kind of have everyone like look up to her as like the super mom, right? But there's a twist. She like kills people and stuff. So if she finds out there's a person in town that's diddling kids, that person's dead. And so she kind of like sets herself up as the person who is trying to hunt down someone who's disappearing kids. And it's all kinds of crazy, bloody, definitely not safe for work. Has a really fun, twisty ending. And so for you guys that love your stabby books, you will really love Mommy Blog. Carving turkey, maybe. She might have been.
Oh, the goddamn tragedy. So this one, I was telling Jen before we started, I was a little bit disappointed with it. It wasn't so much the writing and it wasn't so much the art. It is a one shot and it's a very thick one, but I do feel as if that it could have been at least 3 issues, that they could have spread this out a little bit more, because it seemed like the pacing was, they're just trying to just bust it out as as quickly as they could. And I do think that there is like a demand for a story like this, where where it's loosely based off of various tragedies. Oh gosh, yeah. Almost put in.
They're so used to me like making it safe for kids in the room.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
God, no. It's like, I don't know if it matters, but like, oh, gosh darn tragedy, this one.
Yeah, gosh dang tragedy then. No, but yeah, I do think that this should have been at least like a 3-issue series. If it was like, if it wasn't going to be like an ongoing, and I'm not sure if the pacing really worked as like a one shot, because at the end it was just very much a like that's it, that's where we're going to end it.
So is it more like it looked like it was 3 acts within the book that could have been better served to stand alone and kind of leave you hanging?
Well, because basically the story, like what it is like a woman, she approaches this newspaper editor who slash writer who writes a story about this tragedy that happened to her when she was a kid. But the thing is, he wasn't exactly truthful about what happened. It was very like, what's the word? Like the like tabloid magazines will make it like sensationalized. Yeah. So it is. Oh, thank you so much. So it's like, she's like, okay, if you're going to tell the story, tell it right. I'll tell you how it really went down, and we'll publish it. And I feel like with that in mind, it could have been like each issue could have been like more and more of the story being told. And again, like I don't like being down on comics, especially if it's a series that I'm really looking forward to. With this one, it's like it's so close to being like a really good comic book, a really great series. If and I get like, they're very busy creative teams here, but like 2 more issues would have like really helped this issue out. So if you're a fan of the writer and artist, it's worth checking out. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Maybe look into it and come to your own thoughts. This is just my 2 cents on it. I don't want to tell you guys like, don't buy this book, but I don't know.
I wonder if at the, like when they're thinking about their release schedule and stuff, if stuff like this gets caught up in the, all right, well, Chris has got 12 other books he's got to do and has to fit in. So just to like work the schedule out, and for like, we have, X amount of horror this week or whatever. Maybe they say, okay, we can do this, but it got to squash all in one thing. I wonder if sometimes it's not like a decision for the writing and art team, that it just happens to be what can fit into a release schedule.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess if that was going to be the case, they could have done it like how Ed Brubaker's been doing at Image, like the OGN's he's been doing. That I would have loved to, down the line, it's like, hey, we're going to do a gosh darn tragedy original graphic novel. That's the first part.
All right, so I did not read number 1 nor number 2 of this series. And the word on the street is it doesn't matter, because each story is its own encapsulated story, much like if you were watching Black Mirror. You don't have to watch any of the other Black Mirrors, because each episode is its own terrifying concept. And Shanice actually handed me number 2 of this, which is hanging out in my car waiting for me to have time to actually read it. So I'm going to. I know. Boop. We got booped. So just know that this is Dennis Camp, who just is also writing another like top book this week. So you're good. You should trust that he knows what he's doing. This is the premise of this story is that this is a tale about a place called Hearth, which is a town. The problem is there's another dimension with the exact same town, exact same people, and it's called Hearth 2. If you're thinking that it sounds like Earth, you're probably on the right track. So, yes, it's with purpose. So, what happens is you see the parallels in the storyline they introduce the characters from both of them and the way that their societies work, The problem is that on Earth 1, it seems to be that their theme of be a good neighbor is very true. They have good society, everything's working, everyone has plenty. Great. Earth 2, for some reason, has kind of gone off the tracks and is a little bit more about itself. And so they find themselves in like a real crisis. And that's when you see, I'm not going to give you only this much, that Earth 2 finds its way into Earth 1's realm, which, if you can imagine, for every one person from both of those places, they look exactly the same, they act the same. You got, Earth 1 and 2, Ben and Betty. You got Earth 2, Ben and Betty. What happens when those guys show up? Earth 1 people say, we're good neighbors, come live at our house. Come be with us. You can imagine what kind of crazy stuff might then occur if you all cohabitate. So anyway, it's just like one of those, like, truly, I see this one as being one of the very best kind of Black Mirror episodes ever written, or any of those other fun, twisty tales that we like to watch, like Love, Death Robots, those kinds of things, where it all comes full circle, has a real message. It's a terrifying look of you. You look at it, you say, okay, well, they probably are saying something about us as humans and our human nature. Probably this is the way it would work out if such a thing occurred. So if you like real good sci-fi, but no actual sci-fi, then try this out. Oh, I got to read this one too. Okay, full. I'm gonna tell myself. Lore War was touted as being this big, gigantic storyline where they're going to wrap up all the Star Trek titles. So it's wrapping up main Star Trek, the Defiant, and I can't remember the third one that's been rolling. But I'm guessing, is this a character from the...
Yeah, from Lower Decks.
From Lower Decks. Okay,
yeah.
So it's also rolling in Lower Decks. So what's happened in those books so far is that there's been formed this big fascist society. Instead of it being like the way that Star Trek society usually is with the Federation, where everyone looks out for each other and no one uses money and everyone, it's like for the greater good, all those things. Everything about that is completely flip-flopped, and it's like all about this one main bad guy. And in that universe, Shax is a different version of himself. He's been kind of like, because he's a security guy, he got given this like really important job. But in this issue, which also hit, it's so funny. If you're a fan of Squirrel Girl, where at the bottom of every page there's some witty commentary that's like directly from the mind of the person, in this case, it's Shax, which you're like, well, this is hilarious. And the very first page, it basically says, at the bottom, it says, well, we've definitely done a bad thing by giving you homework in the very first issue. And it says, you should go read the rest of Lore War. It'll be great. So this is him kind of like coming out of himself and not being this bad version of himself anymore. And then the whole book is him having his worst day, which is him trying to defeat the whole lore universe worth of stuff so that he can reverse the effects of what's happening. There's lots of, it's a very not Star Trek where there's a lot of carnage and death, but it'll be okay, he assures us. This one has kind of the earmarks of when I was on the Eisner judging committee 3 years ago or whatever, there was a Star Trek story that was part of the main series, which got nominated for an Eisner. I can't remember if it won or not. This one kind of has the earmarks of that, where it doesn't seem on its outside to be anything very much because it looks like it's a cartoony Star Trek, but it is really terrific. So even if you aren't reading any of the rest of it, you could read this one by itself, because I haven't read, like I said, any of the other Lore War stuff. I understand what's going on because I read the copy of it, but this one made me laugh a lot.
The Pale Knight. So this one was really fun despite the subject matter. Basically, a man comes back from doing what he does, doing what England was doing at this time period as a knight, and he goes home while this plague is spreading across Europe, some sort of mysterious plague, who knows? But he gets home and he finds his son to be very, very sick and close to death. So he is like, I'm willing to do anything and everything to save my son. And then Death, as see on the cover, is like, you're willing to do you're willing to do anything. So Death basically tells him, I need you to kill someone by the next full moon, meaning he's got like 3 weeks to do this. He kills that person, his son is saved. He doesn't, his son dies.
Does he tell him who that person is before the deal is struck?
He does. So you find out who this person is, and very intriguing issue number 1. Number 5.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like this one. I really like this one quite a bit. When we were picking out our comics, I even asked Jen, like, which one did you want to read? It was between this one and Mommy Blog. Mm-hmm. So I got to read The Pale Knight, and again, like this book, I really enjoyed it. I love the art style of it. I loved how you really do you really are rooting for this man to. It sounds terrible, like to kill somebody else, but you want him to save his son, and the fact that he's making like a deal with Death, of all people, who does tell him like, look, I'm giving it to you straight. I'm not gonna like screw you over. I just need you to do this thing for me, and I'll save your kid. Now, whether he succeeds or not, I'm sure we'll find out. And I am also very curious about how the rest of the cast, how they'll play into this, because they're not, at least in this issue, not a part of like the deal, but there is a pretty heavy focus on these characters, like throughout this issue. So I don't know, maybe it'll be revealed that they also have deals with Death, because they got home from France after everything went down. So maybe their loved ones are also like, in danger or close to death, and maybe they all have to kill each other. Who knows? But really dug this one. Can't quite call it horror. Maybe dark fantasy, I guess.
Okay. So Eddie, a little bit of you makes me your man.
Oh, that's all stuck in my head.
It's been a long time since I've sung that in my head. I was like, oh wait, I have to get to the end of the song.
Yeah, I was saying.
I'm probably wrong about the lyrics. Usually I sing real loud in my car. So if you're trying to get my attention when we're driving, I'm singing. I have no idea who you are. I'm not paying attention to you. If you're in my peripherals, I don't know who you are. But man, I cannot tell you that I'm actually singing the correct lyrics. Just the lyrics I like that I've made up. I'm sure you own a comic store. That's right. All right. Absolute Wonder Woman. Okay. What is she doing in this issue? Oh, crap. I have to look at it. Sorry, I've been reading all of them, and now I believe I'm like, uh-oh, what was going on in this one? It goes back and touches in on her defeat of the Tetracide, which was that giant creature that was making weird sounds that she cleaves in half with her giant sword. Spoiler alert! She has a giant sword, or at least it grows to be giant. And when I'm not talking about just kind of like normal Pacific Rim giant, I'm talking big enough to kill Godzilla. Giant. Oh, this is right. She meets a new bad guy in this one. Okay, so there is an introduction of a character they call her, I guess Dr. Poison. And Dr. Poison it's hard to tell if Dr. Poison is a prisoner, but they are basically behind glass, wearing this big mechy kind of suit. You don't get to see their face at all. And they're doing all kinds of experiments, ideally, I'm guessing, to create some kind of like vaporized poisons And also does other science stuff for the person that is in charge. She does not have magic sword, but that would be dope because that would be magic-y. And she uses magic because she's a witch. Yeah. So a lot of the fun about this issue is learning more about the Dr. Poison character, what Dr. Poison is up to outside of what they are supposed to be doing. It's good character development. It's not a character that I've ever experienced. And I think we get to see a new weapon or power for Wonder Woman. I haven't seen her use it before, and it's pretty awesome. So far we've seen her giant sword, right? We've seen 3 lassos. And basically everything she's wearing is a weapon of some sort. So this is something new that she's pulled out. So jump if you like, kind of like someone that had misunderstood my saying that it's a dark book because of that she's, a witch and she's raised in hell. But the book itself isn't dark because she's good and she's trying to do good things. She's trying to do what Wonder Woman would. But she's just coming from really bad circumstances in which, she has to mouth off to Hades and stuff. So.
Oh, it's a giant sized X-Men. So this one is pretty fun. For Kamala, she is due to the main antagonist's nonsense, is dropped in random points of time throughout X-Men history. And the first one obviously is giant size X-Men. So it's kind of fun seeing her interact with these characters because it's kind of like a Gwenpool situation where she knows what happens, but Gwenpool's case, she's a comic fan. With Kamala, she's like, dude, I'm from the future. I know how this goes. Some of you are going to go through the ringer, but I can't tell you too much because paradox and all that jazz. So that's the main story. I think everyone, when it comes to this issue, they're curious about the backup story, which introduces a new person. And I, not even 2 or 3 pages into their introduction, and they're already I already adore them. They are such a fun new character, and I'm hoping to see them pop up in the next, because I think it's giant size Dark Phoenix saga. So I'm hoping to see that person pop up a little bit more, or maybe even in the main X-Men titles. I'm not sure how that's.
Shanice is being so sneaky about it. All that stuff's true. We just can't tell you it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure, what else to say about it, but
what are they gonna do? Come for us?
No more Marvel books. But also, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, so you guys can read it too, and also be like, oh, that was super cool, or be like, oh, that lady on the comic review show lied to me. So. Yeah, it's funny, Preston, when I was reading that, I'm like, oh yeah, she's immune. I forgot. But
Nick Barucci!
Yeah, so this was a fun issue to read. Always have a soft spot for her. And it's always fun to seeing her interact with the younger versions of these characters. And again, the backup story was also a lot of fun. I always like seeing Charles get knocked down a few pegs. So, highly recommend this one. And
I was being serious, guys. This is going to be first appearance of somebody that you're going to see again, and you will want to have this book.
So, what Jen said too.
Spoiler alert. All right. The future is, this is the one I was going to try to clarify some stuff with you. So, the future is a really cool book that we've talked to you guys about a lot in the last week on our shows. The one we were talking about was the really cool hardcover Kickstarter version. These are the books in their regular comic book form that are being released to your LCS. And there are 2 versions that you might see at your local comic shop this week. This cover that you see right here is the 1337 cover. And it is yellow. You can see the yellow on there. And there's one out there that's a 404 and it's blue. So all of the yellow parts there become blue. They are the same book. Okay. Inside is a great story and also some hidden challenges. So the parent company that's making these books is Black Hills Information Society, I think. I'm sure the last two are probably wrong, but they are a white hat hacker group that teaches you and companies how to keep your information safe. So, along with making a really awesome story, if you've ever read anything that Fred Van Lente has written, you know that it's great. He was in charge of the reworking of all the Valiant universe. Up until now, looks like they're relaunching and making everything completely different, which is kind of interesting. But I do recommend going back and reading what he built because it was really terrific. And there is a cool like leaderboard. So if you go in there and do the fun challenges that I can never remember what they're called because I am not a hacker. But you can be on the leaderboard. There's a big old leaderboard for both their company, which includes prizes, and for our channel for the experience. So if you're on the leaderboard, make sure you let us know and we'll keep track of it internally for ourselves, and we'll have special rewards just for you guys that are competing. So capture the flag. Thank you. It's capture the flag. You can tell that I'm super hackery. I barely can make my iPhone work. So so I will tell you the difference between these two right now is a cover price. So there's a kind of a gimmicky cover price. The $13.37 is the cover price for this yellow one, which spells out something that hackers will get it. And then 404, of course, is file not found, which is another inside joke. And so I say it's totally cool. Just buy the 404 one because it's $4.04, same book, unless you're a completionist and you want to get the other one too. I don't know if in the future it's going to mean anything for values or any of those things, but in every other way, other than the color for the words, I think it's the same thing. So, and also I saw this that they were providing for local comic shops. You might be able to hunt it down. It's kind of cool. This is The Future is a Bear versus Bear Guide to Keeping Cyber Safe. So it's just a little information, cute information about how to keep your digital information safe. And it gives you a little look at the rest of The Future is universe. It's okay, so upside down and backwards stands for leet, which I'm going to assume is exactly like yeet. Hack lingo. You place letters with numbers that look like the. So like when I was a kid and we used to like do the special letters in our calculator and turn it around and it said boop the B word. Or just type out hell. Oh man, we were real rebellious with our speaking spells. There you go. Oh my gosh. All right. Are there any more on our list?
No, ma'am, that was it.
Okay, cool. So just know that there is new compact size the DC book that releases this week. We get to finally have Static Season 1. Static's probably one of the most popular characters for the Milestone universe, although I highly recommend all of them, really. This is a great place to jump on. It's for $10. You can read the entire graphic novel, which I think previously has been like 15, 20, something like that. There is the new Transformers Big Compendium. This is from the original Marvel Run stuff. So, and it's neat because it's printed on like news stock, so it feels like the original kind of old school book stuff. And Dark Knight's Metal. No, that's us doing a restock. Oh, this is the big one this week. You guys have all been waiting for this, I'm sure, just like me. You get to finally read Rook Exodus because you know that you haven't been able to find any of those back issues. If you were late to the game, you've probably been chomping at the bit for Rook Exodus. I probably did not order enough of those. Highly recommend you jump into that universe because I've talked to a ton of people about all of the different parts of that universe and asked them which is their favorite, and almost all of them weirdly say Rook. which is awesome. Because to me, of all the names of the books, it seems to be the most weird. Rogue Exodus isn't as easy to get into as Geiger or Redcoat. By the way, how much did you guys love the first appearance of the Northerner last week? Hope you guys got to read that goodie. Also a reminder, if you were traveling around and looking for a place to go enjoy comic books, at least for right now, it still works. You can use comicshoplocator.com. We'll let you know if that ever turns off or changes or any of those kinds of things, as there's a transition between the old company, Diamond, and the new company that's going to own it. So hopefully all of that will not change and be fine. Otherwise, I know that there's a bunch of other places that are in the works, making sure that their databases are up and running with all the good information for comic shops. So all you need is zip code for where you are, and you can look up all the different places that might be available. We always say, call up and make sure what their hours are, because sometimes they've changed and they forgot to change it in the Diamond system, even though they might have changed it on the Googles. So, man, when you change anything, where your address is or anything, trying to remember all the places you have to fix it. Trust us. Last year, they were like, people kept on coming in and was like, oh no, it still says your old address. I'm like, no, I've changed everything. And they're like, no, you have to go to Apple Maps. I'm like, what?
Yeah, just taking them all over the place. Yeah.
Oh man, definitely. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, sorry. Was just going to say, you can catch Miss Jen next on the CBSN, correct? Yep. And then keep another tab open. You can watch Welcome to Wonderland with Rich Davis and AJ. I believe from their thumbnail, they're going to be doing a horror comic show. So
I know all these guys are going to go that one.
Yeah, you should definitely check that out. If you have never watched Welcome to Wonderland, it's a fantastic show, much like all the shows on The Experience. Then after that, at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, you got Kicking It with Henri. And since we're at the end of the show, and one of them is in the chat right now, I'd like to say that we have a ton of awesome people in our community.
Yes, we do.
Ones that have their own channels. Well, very recently, our very own Eddie Von B and Mr. Nope started a channel. They released an unboxing video yesterday. So please check out Weirdopes. Ed made the Hydrosylum theme song and made their theme song, and they're both the catchiest earworms you will ever hear. So always want to push people on The Experience that watch us, that support us when they have channels and stuff. Like I said, Triple B's got a channel. Now Ed and Mr. Nope have a channel. We got Castle's Corner that shows up on the EXP shorts. So make sure you're checking all this stuff out, folks.
Yeah, we're part of a big, happy community. If you know something that's out there that is raising up comic books and comic books creators and people that have really cool shops, please let us know. We'd like to raise up their voices too, because, I mean, we're not such a gigantic industry that we can like fight with each other. We want to make sure to keep everybody healthy and happy. All right, we're done a tiny bit early. You guys should definitely stick around for all the good horror, it sounds like. So please do that. Eddie's not using white punks on Tope. Is that a cool song? All right, everyone, stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys next week for Minute to Skim It.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere The Experience is all the time.